Yet another day has passed with no student loan forgiveness decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. The decision could come tomorrow, or it could come sometime in July. Its ruling focuses on President Joe Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 in student loan debt for millions of Americans. Eligibility is determined by income and whether or not a person received a Pell Grant. As for what exactly the court is deciding on, we went to a student loan expert for answers.
Ultimately, the Supreme Court's making the determination of whether the Biden administration had the authority under federal law to implement this decision, this forgiveness program.
That's Betsy Mayotte, the president and founder of the Institute of Student Loan Advisors. She says the court is looking at three different arguments. Number one is if the plaintiffs in the student loan forgiveness lawsuits had the standing to sue.
People just can't sue because they don't like something. They have to show that they themselves, the people bringing the case, are harmed.
So then a second argument is whether President Biden had the authority to forgive student loans.
So we don't have a king, right? We have a president. And the president is bound by federal law, just like you and I are. And what the HEROES Act did is the HEROES Act said that in the situation of a national emergency, which COVID was, that the president does have the authority to do something that would normally be contrary to federal law. And that's the legal argument the Biden administration is using to give themselves the authority to do this Biden-Harris debt relief.
And the last argument is over the major questions doctrine.
Basically what that is the Supreme Court saying, listen, this is a really expensive program. If Congress wanted to spend that kind of money, they would have done it themselves.
All right, so regardless of what the Supreme Court rules, we know that for a fact that interest rate and repayment pauses will end this fall. Mayotte says interest will begin accruing again on September 1st, and payments, they restart sometime in October.
The first thing borrowers need to do, all of them, is make sure they know where their loans are. 17 million federal student loan borrowers had their loans move servicers during the pause. So the first thing they should do is to go to studentaid.gov and make sure they know who their servicer is. Step two is to log into that servicer and make sure they have up-to-date contact information for you. Snail mail, email, phone. Going forward after that, open and read all the things because you want to make sure that you know of every important deadline. When are you going to be required to make your first payment?
Don't ignore that email or that letter that you get in the mail. If you check your student loan service and something looks weird, don't panic.
A lot of the servicers may not have accurate information on your account right now as far as what your payment amount is or when your first payment's going to be due or when you're required to recertify an income-driven plan. I expect all that stuff to get sorted out probably by the end of next month. But if you think something looks weird, I would maybe take a step back and wait for the dust to settle a little bit more before people sort of freak out.
Well, payments have been paused for the last 3 years. That means hundreds of thousands of students have graduated and may not have ever made a student loan payment. Others just might not be prepared for the restart. Mayotte says there's a plan in the works to benefit borrowers.
One of the things we've been waiting for is this new repayment plan that this administration has been working on for almost 2 years now. We don't know what the final is going to look like, but if it's anything like what we saw with the draft rules that came out last year, this could have a significant positive impact to a lot of federal student loan borrowers by significantly reducing their monthly payment and perhaps even making it more likely that they would receive some form of at least partial loan forgiveness after 25 years of being on that new plan.
Another program to benefit borrowers is included in a law called the SECURE Act 2.0. Megan Bragg looks into what that program can do.
The SECURE Act 2.0 that went into law on January 1st makes some changes to existing rules around retirement accounts. It also could give a one-up to people struggling to pay student loans. To get the facts, we went to Mark Henry, CEO of Alloy Wealth Management, the text of the Secure Act 2.0, and the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. It's a tough choice for some student loan borrowers: put money into their 401k and save for retirement, or make payments on their student loans. But a provision in the Secure Act 2.0 might make it easier for borrowers to save for retirement and pay off their loans.
Starting in 2025, businesses will be able to make a contribution to your 401k if you pay down your student debt.
According to the Secure Act 2.0, it works like a company match on 401k contributions. Companies can count payments made on student loans, match those payments, and put that money into employees' 401k.
You paid a $200 payment to pay down your student loan, and the company you work for in that example put $200 in your 401k.
According to the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, the total student debt balance, including federal and private loans, is more than $1.76 trillion. For students struggling to choose saving or paying off loans, Henry says this new law could help.
That would encourage young people to actually pay down their student loans.
Henry says the Secure Act 2.0 does not force companies into matching student loans. That will be up to the companies if they want to participate or not.
Well, student loan expert Betsy Mayotte wanted to share 3 things for you to know about student loan repayments right now. First and foremost, be wary of the scams.
Consumers should be very wary of student loan scams during this period and for the next year. Student loan scams have always existed, but with everything that's going on, this is like Christmas, birthday, and Arbor Day all wrapped up into one, because it's creating a much more believable narrative for these scammers. You never have to pay for student loan help, and paying someone for student loan help is not going to get you access to a program that you wouldn't normally be eligible for or get you that benefit any faster.
All right, the second thing that you need to know is you need to be patient.
We are all going to need to put our patience pants on. We are in an extraordinary time in student loan history, and 40 million people all restarting repayment at the same time is just beyond what the system was built for. So people should expect extended hold times if they have to call. People should expect it to maybe take longer to get paperwork processed. And it's just going to be what we're going to have to, that's part of the reason the Department of Ed is putting the safety net in place. But we're all going to have to sort of be patient and try to plan ahead for that.
All right, and number 3, if you do need help, there are many free options available to you, including the organization that Mayotte founded.
Shameless plug, my organization, the Institute of Student Loan Advisors, or TISLA, is one of them. Our website is freestudentloanadvice.org. And one of the things that we're doing to prepare for the pause is we put a banner up right on the front page with 2 links. One for repayment restart. And we are going to keep populating that as new information and new guidance comes out with FAQs and so on. There's already information up there. The other link that's on that banner is for the Biden-Harris loan forgiveness. As soon as we know what's happening with that, we're going to update that page as well. So I do encourage people to utilize our website and, of course, email us through TISLA email if they need additional help.